You ever drinking? You ever drunken? You ever drunken a milkshake for breakfast?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Like milkshake or like a smoothie?
No, like a
shake.
milkshake. I'm talking like go to
ice-
Chick-fil-A and get a chocolate milkshake.
Oh, no, that I've not.
Never done that?
No.
Dude, these ready-to-drink milks are basically a melted milkshake. Without the calories, without the sugar.
Without the ice cream.
They are so dang good. I don't know if you've had all the flavors, right? Vanilla, chocolate, and banana.
No, I ran through my supply. When did we get them?
I went through it.
Ago?
Yeah, we got 12 of them. I went through it in 12 days.
Yeah.
I was very, that's the hard thing is like you could slam 3 of those a day.
Well, and there was a couple days I had it like post-workout and then I had it like at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Just because it was like, all right, I had to grab something quick and then it was like, that's perfect because I need my protein.
They're dangerous. Yeah. I'm doing the banana right now and it's surprisingly good. At first I saw banana, I was like, that's me too much.
Yeah, that banana Laffy Taffy flavor, but it's good. I agree. Very good.
Legit.
Yep.
So, of course, we're talking about the Jocko Fuel, the Mulk, the ready to drink. If you're in Texas, you can get these at HEB. If you're not in Texas, I'm sure there's Vitamin Shop.
By the time this airs, you can actually physically go to HEB in Frisco because the new
That's true.
North Texas. It's what because there's some in like South Dallas, and like Southwest Dallas, but up north, first one, baby.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So go get yourself some at HEB, or of course their website jockofuel.com. Not speaking of healthy decisions.
Ooh,
we're going to talk today.
Love unhealthy decisions.
We're going to talk today about alcohol and how it affects the body. Mm-hmm. And I'll just lead with this. I don't think this discussion is necessarily for people that may have an issue with alcohol consumption and like are super deep into it, and you know that's not what today's discussion is more geared to people that they like to dabble every now and then. It's fun, right? But maybe they don't realize the true effect that alcohol is actually having on their body. I think that's today's probably more geared towards that discussion. But I did want to start off with a question to you. Maybe have a little fun here. Do you remember the first time that you got drunk?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was in Mexico, my senior trip.
Okay. Senior in high school?
Senior in high school.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I feel bad. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I feel bad
Absolutely
saying
loved
it. I feel bad saying it because I did not drink in high school at all. And I was that
like
guy.
when you say I didn't drink, like nothing?
No, nothing.
Not an ounce?
Nope, nothing.
Okay.
Because I had a persona that I had to live up to, right? And I had this image of who I was supposed to be, and in anything that I would do that was contrary to that, like then I'd be an ultimate failure. And that was like a whole other mental, identity issue that I had. But alcohol and being like the perfect kid was part of that. And what it led to is like going the whole other way when I got into college. 0 to 60 real quick. Yeah. And so, and it's hard, right? Your first experience is in like tropical, a bunch of kids. First time, really, it's an extended trip with no adults.
Is that not the perfect setting?
It was awesome. It was great. It was great.
What did you think of alcohol? I mean, I know you said you wanted to live up to a standard, but like the actual, like, what did you think was going to happen the first time you drank? Or were you even thinking? Were you just, I'm just living in the moment?
I just let loose. It was the first time I let loose. So I don't know. It was now like I do remember there was like one evening, like I got a little scared, like because it was the first time I ever felt like out of control, like where and it wasn't out of control, but it was like I couldn't get back to. We had these. There were like the hotel was like these little villas, right? And so there was like 2 or 3 of us in like each like room or whatever. And I remember like not knowing how to get back, and I couldn't figure out how to get back, and it was like scary because it was just like, okay, this is so different.
Yeah.
Because I was always the guy that like knew where to go, where to be, how to be there. Like kids in high school could only and I say kids, girls specifically in high school could only go places if Tyler Klutz was there. Like their parents would only allow them because they knew
you were known as the guys
that I would make sure that everything was okay. Like I would take care of it. And then it was not okay. Right. Yeah. Then it was like out of control. Like, and I just like cut loose. And I mean, it was like all filters were gone. And I do remember in the middle of that, it was as fun as it was. I do remember being like, okay, this is like, I'm not sure if I like this. But it was a great trip. Gosh, it was a great trip.
So it was your senior trip, meaning it was towards the end of your senior year in high school?
No, it was after I graduated.
Oh, after you graduated.
So after I graduated. Yeah. So I went through graduation. So like graduation night, didn't drink, like never went through, never did any of that.
So what made you want to do it that night?
Well, it was legal in Mexico, 18 and older. Is the drinking age down there. So it was legal. So that was like one thing. And then two, it was like I decided like after wrestling season.
This is premeditated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this was planned out for sure. And it was a big deal. Like everybody was like, yes, and so, first night you go out, like senior frogs or whatever, and everybody's like just staring, like, oh, get him another one. And so, but yeah, so it was the summer, and it was weird, and I didn't feel, and I look back, I'm like, yeah, because you're freaking 18 and a half years old, like your body recovers like crazy. Because I mean, I would drink pretty much all day, and then we drank all night, and then I'd get up and I'd get like a full on workout in, because it was a week going. So I had a week of practice of the All-Star game, like the football All-Star game, and then I was gone, and then it was like the All-Star game. I came back to it, so I had to like stay in shape a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it was.
So hangovers meant nothing to you.
It wasn't like I didn't, and I don't know, like since like Mexico, they're kind of not really a thing. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why. Like
you never had a hangover, you saying?
No, I've definitely had that. But I'm saying usually in Mexico, and I don't know why in Mexico, they're not as common. But then at that age, it was like, and I'm like, why does everybody complain about this? This isn't that bad. Like, you still be productive. You can still get stuff done.
Well, and you're 18. That helps.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I realized. And I was still drinking a ton of water. But I don't know, man. So what the hard part about that is I thought that like, oh, man, I could still do everything I need to do. I came back. I was ready for the game. I was still in good shape. And this is like, by the way, the leanest I was ever in my entire life. Like,
I remember.
You were that whole senior, like for my wrestling season, which you come out of wrestling season fairly lean, and then I lost another 15 pounds after that, just like getting cut up for the senior trip. This was a big week.
Seriously.
And
it's a pivotal
but the
moment.
problem is that drinking, then it was like, oh, I could do this. Like, it's not going to affect me. Yeah, I've got it. It's not that hard. Like, I don't know why everybody thinks it is so bad. And then you learn. You learned. Yeah.
Yeah, my first time, I was 21, believe it or not. My 21st birthday.
Yeah.
Is my first time I ever drank.
So, okay, so you went to Abilene Christian. Honestly.
Oh, I'll be honest with you.
What was the atmosphere? Like, was there not much drinking?
No,
or
it was normal.
There?
It was 100% normal.
Okay.
Now, it wasn't to the scale, I'm sure, because we only had 2,000 students.
Do you have frat houses there? Is there fraternities?
They don't call them fraternities.
Oh, okay.
They call them social clubs.
Okay.
Yeah, which is way worse and way not as cool.
but would they?
Well, no, sorry. Let me retract. They don't have official. They have unofficial.
Got it.
So fraternity houses.
Okay.
They have official social clubs.
Yeah.
But they're not your Greek life names.
Got it.
They're a watered down version.
Got it.
And then they don't have an official house, but it's a group of 7 of them that live together. And that's the quote unquote house.
Okay.
So, but it's like, and the normal camp, it's like people think, oh, it's a Christian school. I bet nobody drank. I bet nobody. No, it was.
Well, but isn't there
people went there and did the same thing?
Rules of conduct that you'd have to like follow?
You for sure got in. Yeah, there were absolutely rules.
Okay.
So you had to live on campus your first 2 years.
Yeah.
You had to get this. My freshman year, there was a curfew.
Yeah.
In the dorms.
Yeah.
You had to be in the room by, I think it was 11 during the week, and by midnight or 1 on the weekends.
Okay.
But what your way around it, I had older brothers that lived off campus. And so your way around it is you sign out for the weekend.
Got it.
And so you can go. So what we would do is we would sign out for the weekend. Or another loophole, which is, again, is dumb, is you had to be back by 1, but the dorms also opened up again at 5 a.m.
So you stay up.
So another thing you do, you just stay up till 5 and then come back, and you weren't in trouble at all.
So if you sign out, can you not go back on Saturday?
If you sign out, that's a good question. I don't remember. I don't think I would ever sign out if I was staying in town. I would just stay out till the doors opened up again. Yeah. And I just go stay at my brother's house or something like that.
Okay.
Or a friend's house. So it's very strict rules, but everybody did the same thing normal college kids do.
Okay.
It wasn't like we're all sitting in a circle reading the Bible on Friday nights. Okay. It was normal.
So you just played board games. Yeah. Same thing as everybody else.
Yeah. But I remember some friends wanted to throw me a party on my 21st because, I grew up in Abilene. Mm-hmm. A lot of my friends stayed and went to school at Abilene. So they all knew me. They knew I didn't party. And it was great looking back now. None of my closest high school friends drank. So it wasn't ever a temptation because it was like, this is just not what we do. Yeah. We go have fun, do dumb stuff. Yeah. We're not necessarily drinking. So they were all excited about getting me. They were going to be the first time I was going to get, alcohol and get drunk. Yeah. And I, same thing as you, I started doing it. And first of all, the taste was horrible. Didn't like anything.
I know buttery nipples they're kind of gross, aren't they?
Yeah, fuzzy navel and buttery nipples just didn't do it for me for some reason.
at the local Applebee's.
Daiquiris.
Ew, yucky.
But like you, I remember, after a few, you start getting that feeling. Yeah. And I didn't like it at all. Yeah. It felt out of control. Yeah. It was scary. So I left. I left my own 21st birthday party early.
Really? Just Irish goodbye.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm out. And I went straight home because I was scared. I walked straight home. I didn't want to be anywhere near. And then I don't remember the next time I did it again. But yeah, it wasn't fun the first time. Yeah. At all for me. It was scary. Because it wasn't like a moral thing. It was more of, I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. That was always the get for me. Yeah. I hated being in trouble. I was always scared to get in trouble. Yeah. I didn't like to do things out of the. Yeah. I was very straight-laced. Yeah. And again, it wasn't necessarily moral reason. It was more just, I just don't like to be in trouble. Yeah. And so that's what kept me away. And again, none of my friends drank. So it was like, it wasn't a temptation.
Yeah. You know what though? Like one thing, because I've been with you one time and what the thing about you though is like, you're all in. Like, it's like, if I'm doing it, it's like pedal to the metal. Yeah. I don't like most alcoholic beverages I've tried. I don't like the taste. Yeah. So if I'm going to drink, there's a reason and I'm going all in. Yeah. Yeah. I want to get hammered. Yeah. And that's the dangerous part. And so it's like, I don't blame you for like not liking it because I don't like that feeling. Like
I got to where I liked it.
Yeah.
After that first time.
Yeah.
So the first time I didn't like it. Yeah. And then years went by. And then after college, I kind of got into it and did it a handful of times. Mm-hmm. And then over the year, I haven't had a drink since 2019, not a single ounce. Like it doesn't appeal to me anymore. Yeah. Yeah. And it never really has. Thankfully, it never became that feeling that I liked. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the next day more than I liked that feeling that night of. Yeah. And so that's what's kept me from it.
Yeah. I think over the years for me, I hate that feeling. And so I've consciously, like one thing my wife's always like I never know, I could never tell if you are or not like at that level. Mm-hmm. And so I hate it, but like I do have like a switch inside me where it's like, okay, this is the point. Right. Because there's maybe been like 2 or 3 times in the last like 5 years where it was like, okay, that is too much. Mm-hmm. And because I hate that feeling. And now, even as you get older, like even if you don't get to that level, it takes like 2 days to like feel good. Even if it's like, hey, I had 2 glasses of wine last night, one with dinner and then one we're just sitting there talking. And it was like, I just don't feel good. Mm-hmm. Like I really don't. And so to me now, and especially honestly, I would say really since I started like really kind of taking my fitness serious again, like that is the first thing I think about is like, okay, I'm going to have like 2 days that suck and that's not worth it to me.
Right. I'm the exact same way. That's my main deterrent now is the after effects and the health. Is it fun for, the 2 or 3 hours that you're doing it the night of? Sure. But I can have fun without it. And I think about the negative parts.
That's debatable.
I can have fun. Maybe
People
not.
People around me may not.
I can have fun with that. And I'm a homebody anyway. We know this. I don't like people. I don't need to go out and have drinks with the bros. Like that just doesn't appeal to me. So that keeps me away from it now. But you're segueing perfectly. 7 ways that alcohol impairs the body or affects the body. Number 1, it impairs brain development. And I'm not talking, of course, short term, it impairs your brain. I'm talking long term effects, brain development effects. Alcohol affects several brain areas, such as the prefrontal cortex, the corpus callosum, the cerebellum, and the hippocampus. Substantial evidence suggests that one of the main targets of alcohol toxicity in the brain is the hippocampus, which its role is in learning and memory. The alcoholic population shows neuronal loss and a reduction in total hippocampal volume. So again, not just one night, like of course my brain's impaired. We're talking over time to develop, especially college kids, right? Which is the time that most people party.
Yeah.
It impairs that long-term brain development if you're drinking heavily during that time. Number 2, it impairs recovery. This is what you just talked about. Alcohol has a half-life in the body of between 4 and 5 hours, meaning that it takes your body that amount of time to process out half of the alcohol in the bloodstream. Given the slow processing time, the longer before bed that you can stop drinking, the more time you give your body to process the alcohol and reduce any negative repercussions to the body's ability to recover from your training stress. So, yeah, I mean, think about how your body's functioning to try to rid it doesn't like the alcohol, right? It's trying to rid itself of that, and it spends all its resources on that, which obviously gets in the way of any sort of recovery effect.
Yep.
Number 3, this one's surprising to a lot of people because we hear about people passing out drunk, or they're out by 11 and they sleep all night and they're dead. They're completely gone. But it actually impairs your sleep, your true sleep. Mm-hmm. And like I said, many people mistakenly assume that alcohol, because it's a sedative, it actually helps them sleep. So normally in a normal sleep cycle, shortly after falling asleep, your body enters a period of deep sleep, which is the physical restorative stage of sleep. After that, a typical cycle includes a period of REM sleep, the mentally restorative stage. However, when your body is sedated and working to process alcohol out of your system, you missed out on the benefits of these stages and get more light sleep instead. So even if you sleep for a long time after drinking, you don't wake up feeling rested and recovered again. That one surprised me a little bit when I didn't know that, because again, you just think, I think about the times where I would drink too much and be out by 11 and wouldn't remember anything till 8 o'clock the next morning. But you still feel sluggish. You still feel slow. It's because your body's working all night long to process all that alcohol.
And one of the cool things, we both wear the Whoop, is you can see how long you are in each stage. And it's very clear. Yeah. Very, very clear. Because, there used to be a point where it's like, all right, I'll have a glass of wine or, I'll have a bourbon or something before bed. It kind of helps me go to sleep. And when I started wearing the Whoop, it was immediately my recovery scores were down. And I'm like, well, I felt like, I was in bed by 10:30. This is great. But really just that as you're talking about that processing, and then you wake up and you don't feel rested, and it's this fogginess that it just takes a while to, it's after lunch, you start to okay, now I feel normal. Yeah. Even if you don't have a ton, I don't think, and I'm not saying I'm promoting it, but a glass of wine, I don't see it. If I have a glass of wine with dinner or a bourbon or a beer or something like that with dinner, I don't see the implications by the time I go to sleep. But I think you do more than that. That's where it's I really do, man, just getting old sucks, because you really do feel the effects anytime you overindulge just a little bit. Yeah, yeah. And even if you have a sleep number bed, sorry, it's going to help a little bit. Yeah. But it can't overcome all that alcohol that you're drinking. But the cool thing about sleep number is it's going to tell you, it's hey, not a good night.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to tell you
exactly. It'll give you that feedback of you're a moron.
Yeah, yeah.
Quit doing that.
It literally, when it starts to do it, it literally just starts folding me like a taco just to prove don't do this again. Because every time you do it, I'm going to fold you into a taco.
Yeah, that's a little known fact about the sleep number bed. It folds you like a taco if you're drunk trying to go to sleep.
You're passed out on the bed.
And then number 4 ties in that it impairs your workouts. Obviously, health-minded people. This should be enough to keep you away. It says another thing that people don't realize is that they don't get stronger and fitter while working out. Exercise itself actually causes micro tears in the muscles and breaks them down. Fitness gains happen afterwards when your body repairs itself during sleep. In fact, 95% of human growth hormone is produced during deep sleep. But as stated above, alcohol in your system prevents deep sleep from happening. What does this mean? If you drink at night before going to bed, you're basically rendering any workout you did that day useless. So 95% of your growth hormone is produced during deep sleep.
That's interesting.
And if you drink alcohol, you're preventing yourself from getting into that deep sleep. So you go crush yourself in the morning in a tough workout. You're going to go have some beers with the bros because you're celebrating whatever. Great, have fun, but basically all that hour and a half is rendered useless. Yeah.
And that's so common. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Like after we did the Murph, it was like, yeah, let's throw down some beers. Now, granted, I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't take it excessively.
Yeah, and it was by the time I went to sleep, I think it was out of my system. But same thing, like how common is that? Like I earned this. Yeah. Like I deserve to go have some drinks with the boys.
Well, I think it's Michelob. They have a commercial right now.
Yeah. And
it's a lady running. She gets through her neighbor. She's running. Her friend's sitting there waiting on the porch with a Michelob. Yeah. Now again, 1 or 2 beers, no big deal. There's not a lot of alcohol content in there, but we're talking about slamming back shots of Jaeger.
Oh gosh.
Getting a little buck wild. That's what we're talking about
here.
So you might as well just skip that morning workout and go party. Number 5, it impairs normal.
Here's a counter though.
Go ahead.
Here's a little story. Going into my spring of my senior season, I went through a pretty tough, weird stage going into my senior year. I was like single really kind of for the only time that I was in college.
Loser.
I know, loser. And we were at like my buddies, literally it started as Thirsty Thursdays. So we'd go over Thursday night and this was when like beer pong was really.
Did y'all do Wasted Wednesday?
We turned it into Wasted Wednesdays. And then
so weekend started on Wednesday.
And then tip it back Tuesday. So literally it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
And because we just started adding because we were having fun. It was like kind of the same group every week. And I will say that I hit my all-time hang clean PR. Yeah. Drinking until 5 a.m. and showing up at 6. Like I had to get a ride to work out. And I remember my strength coach, he like looks at me, who's now the head guy at the Patriots. He looks at me and goes, "Are you serious? Like you smell so bad." I was like, "Put on System of a Down. I'm about to get this thing."
Yeah, I think again.
Performance enhancer
let's put an asterisk on all these. If you're 21, if you're 34 and 37, that's a little different. Yeah. I'm guessing you're not hitting any PRs these days.
Yeah, I'm tearing a trap. That happens now.
It's hard to hit a PR. Oh my God. Sober as a bird these days. So, number 5, I didn't know this one impairs digestion, normal digestion. Studies show that alcohol causes your stomach to produce greater amounts of gastric acid. This can irritate your digestive system, causing stomach pain, bloating, gas, and other annoyances. When your body is alcohol-free, it digests food in a more consistent and comfortable manner. I guess I've never thought about that one.
Yeah. I know it sucks to eat sometimes, like if you've drinking a lot, like you feel it in your throat, you feel it like it's like acid reflux. So maybe that's what it's talking about. Like I just remember like any time that it's like the next day after having too many, it's like, okay, this is no food tastes or sounds good. Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the term freshman 15?
Yeah.
Number 6 is freshman 15. It says impairs your ability to lose weight. Mm-hmm. It's well documented that excess alcohol consumption is a common risk factor for obesity. However, drinking even small amounts of alcohol can make it very difficult for you to lose weight. No matter what type of alcoholic beverage you consume, the alcohol itself contains 7 calories per gram, almost double what most carbohydrates and proteins have, which is 4 calories per gram. So protein is 4 calories per gram of protein. Carbs, same thing. Fat is actually 9 calories per gram of fat. And then alcohol is its own section, and it's 7. So it's almost double. If you were to eat a steak versus drink a beer, you're almost getting double the calories per gram in the steak versus the beer, or in the beer versus the steak, I guess. So that's unknowingly you're consuming more calories. Plus, add on top of that, you said you may not like to eat sometimes. I know of people that what do? You start drinking and you want to order a pizza and you want to order wings. And you
during, yes.
Yeah, definitely. You just start making these decisions you wouldn't normally make.
Yeah.
inhibitions are, thrown to the wind.
Yeah.
And so correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation, but literally you are consuming more calories from the drink, but also as a byproduct, you're more likely to be consuming other calories as well, along with that night out partying or whatever. So something to be mindful of.
When I was in Canada, it was a guaranteed that I was eating a big basket of poutine.
What is poutine?
I knew you were going to ask. It's French fries, gravy, and cheese curds, which like cheese curds are like.
Is that good?
Have you ever had poutine? It's amazing.
Huh. Doesn't sound good.
But
Gravy and French fries?
Yeah, so it's not like the gravy that you think of. Like it's like it's like Canada's queso, I guess.
Okay.
Is that probably how you would describe it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so, but then you have like these cheese curds, which is like mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, I was hesitant about those, but they're actually very delicious.
They are good. They very, very like fried cheese curds.
It's not a good name.
No, it's not.
The marketing team needs to come up with something
sounds
different.
like spoiled milk.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be terrible.
Who wants to eat a curd?
But it's yeah. But so it was in Canada, man. It was bad.
But I would imagine that's a 2,000 calorie basket of
at minimum.
At minimum.
Yeah.
Along with the alcoholic beverages you're consuming. Yeah, that's
that.
you're
you know what's so funny
10,000
though,
calories
man,
before you even
just
know it.
like to speak culturally and where we're at, and I think everybody's talked about this, but isn't it crazy how aware we are that like, hey, all I got to do is cut out alcohol and I lost 15 pounds. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many people. It's like, hey, I just haven't drinking alcohol in 30 days and I've already lost 10 pounds. Like that's the only thing that you change. Mm-hmm. And now you start to lean out a little bit.
Right.
And it's crazy. We know this, but it's so ingrained in our culture. It's so ingrained in everything we do. Think about it. It's like guys, if guys wanted to like, look, hey, dude, I'm having a hard time at work or I'm having a hard time at home. Hey, what do you do? Hey, you call your buddy. Hey, you want to go grab a beer, man? I just need to kind of talk. The only time we ever talk, which very rarely happens, but what is it? It's over a beer. It's over a drink. Or hey, you guys want to meet up for a drink before dinner? Like the social interaction. Hey, you want to do happy hour with a client? You want to do this? Like everything that is done is surrounded by alcohol, just culturally, and it's just interesting that we know, and everybody knows that. Like, hey. These 7 points.
We haven't gotten to 7 yet.
Haven't gotten there yet, but these 7 points, 6 so far, 7 to.
You're still in my thunder. I was gonna wrap it up with what you're saying right now. Let's get to 7 and let's get back because I think that's exactly what I wanted to finish this off of. Is the point that you're making right now. Number 7. This is one I know you care about. It impairs your healthy skin. Alcohol dehydrates you. One of the byproducts of this is a disruption of blood flow that lessens the amount of oxygen getting to your skin. This makes your skin dry and reduces its elasticity, leading to pigmented spots and wrinkles. If you cut out alcohol and properly hydrate instead, it'll do wonders for your skin. I'm super mindful of my skin. I know you can tell.
Yeah.
That's why I cut out alcohol. That's the number one reason. It's for my skin.
I believe it. That's why you look like an 18-year-old.
That's why, baby soft. No, but you were going right exactly down the direction. Because that's what we do in health, right? We set out all these rules and we have all these, here's the 7 rules of why you shouldn't drink alcohol. Here's what it does to your body. Here's the 7 rules of how fried food affects your body.
Yep.
The problem is exactly what you're saying. That's all well and good, but that's not life.
That's right.
And we know, that's why I always say it's simple, not easy. We know alcohol doesn't serve you. It may serve you and having a good time short term, but you know all the ramifications of that alcohol consumption. And yet we do it anyway. And so continue going down the path you were going. That's why it's so difficult to stay away from, is because of the example that you were given. Go ahead.
Yep. No, I was just saying it's so ingrained in our culture. And you think about how big this industry is and how much money is associated with that industry. And I was looking up a quote right now that I saw, and you may have seen it, the Choose Your Hard.
Yeah. James Lawrence.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. But it's one of those things, we know it's not good for us, but we still choose to do it. And it's why. But I think it all comes down to, and this is a whole other topic, but it's an opportunity for us to not be in our head, and it's an opportunity to escape. It's an opportunity to let loose. because we don't want to deal, or we don't want to live in our own skin at that point.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a whole other deal. And we'll deal with the 7 consequences that we just talked about. We'll deal with those because
they're not immediate.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Well, yeah, but what it is it's I'll deal with those then when I get there, right? Mm-hmm. As long as I can have these few hours where I don't have to be where I'm at right now.
Right.
I'm not saying everybody, right? Because there's a ton of people I know that like are just genuinely happy that like, yeah, they'll have a drink here and there. And again, we're not saying alcohol in itself is overall, but like just understand the negative consequences that come with it.
Yeah, for me, I was never escaping anything when I drank. It was always just, it's there, it's fun, let's have a good time. It was never, I'm trying to escape.
But
I get your point. But
like, why? Why do you have more fun? Is because you're escaping those filters that you may have. Yeah. You're escaping the awareness. You're escaping maybe the personality that you normally have when you're completely sober, right? You get to play a different role with alcohol. And that's what it's like when you go out at night, like you go, in that phase, like post-college, right? People that live in uptown Dallas, like that's kind of the world that you live in. It's like, hey, I get to not be me tonight. I get to be a character tonight because filters are gone. I'm more social. I'm more this. I'm more that. Like, oh, it's the better version of me, but it's not, right? It's not you because that's not. That's just not reality. Or else you'd be like that and you wouldn't need alcohol.
Yeah, everything's a trade-off.
Yeah,
you're making that decision. What are you trading for that decision?
Yeah.
For me, I'm at a point where I've decided the trade-off is not worth it. The one night of fun, I'm trading in 2 days of feeling good.
Yeah.
That's just not worth it for me.
Yeah.
Some people it is. Some people, they have a great time when they drink, and it's awesome and they fun and they're okay with the consequences that are the next day or two. And that's great. If that's you, that's fine. For me, the trade-offs, I've just found it's not worth it. And for whatever reason, the brain that I've been given is able to manage that. Yeah. Some people they can't. Some people it's true addiction. And again, this episode's not necessarily for those people. This episode's more for those that are trying to live a healthier lifestyle and just understanding what this trade-off does to you.
Yeah.
And it will impair you. Yes, maybe you'll have fun that night of, but what's happening the next day or two?
Yeah.
How is that impairing you from getting to where you want to go? Is that really allowing you to maximize whatever it is that you're after?
Yeah.
And for me, I've made the decision that it doesn't. Doesn't mean I look down on people that do. Doesn't mean I hate it. Doesn't mean I think it's horrible. Do what you want to do. For me personally, the trade-off's not worth it.
That's right. It's good, man. And again, I want to be very clear. When I'm talking to myself a lot on this. It may sound like I'm critical of it. That's not the case. I'll have drinks. To the point where, like, there was a point during the pandemic that if anybody would come over to our house, Rocco would go to the fridge, grab a beer, and bring it and hand it to him. Like, that's how normalized.
Your 5-year-old, right?
He wasn't even 5 then. He was like 3.5. And that's how normalized it was. So let me be very clear and honest. Like, these are things that I will struggle with because there are times, man, like there was a period where it was really right after football. I kind of struggled, and it was like, by the end of the day, I was like craving a drink. And at the time, it was like, I just, really, like, I'm really into bourbon right now, or I'm really into wine right now, or I'm really into this. But in reality, what it was for me is I was really just struggling internally, and I couldn't wait to just not think and turn off. And it was an escape. And it literally compounded. And then it was like, I don't want to wake up in the morning. And it was just this cycle that just really, and not... Alcohol wasn't the problem. I was the problem, but that was a vehicle for me that just drove me further away than from where I wanted to be, but it was just easier.
Yeah.
Because it was there,
Yeah, the alcohol certainly wasn't making you more of the person you wanted to become.
That's right.
In that moment.
That's right.
It was actually aiding you in becoming the person you didn't want to become.
And that's a great point. Ask people. I would say there's probably a much smaller pool of people that say alcohol has helped me become who I want to be, then the people say, hey, it's been more of a deterrent for me.
That's why it's always odd to me that alcohol is this cultural norm.
Yeah.
And we look down on all these other drugs, but how many lives has alcohol ruined? I mean, goodness.
How many generations?
How many generations? I mean, how many people are affected by alcohol abuse?
Yeah.
Tons of people. And yet, for whatever reason, we just, as a culture, we don't really see it as being that big of a deal. In fact, you're made fun of if you think of alcohol in a negative way.
So you and Tiffany are the same. Like we give you a bad time, and Tiffany's always had a bad time. And I talked about this a little bit when I was going through 75 Hard. Like I realized how normalized it is to just drink alcohol and engage in all that. And for the first time, I understood what Tiffany, because Tiffany never drinks. Like on her birthday, she'll have like a martini, and I mean maybe like every once in a while at dinner, like she really likes martini. That's really the only thing that she likes. And she is always like, "Oh, when's Fun Tiffany coming?" And like people are joking, but it really does wear, and I'm sure you can relate to this. It's like, it does. Okay, so now I kind of feel like you're just like being mean to me. Like you're kind of like, am I not a fun person normally? Am I not pleasant to be around? Am I not this? And she would get it all the time because I was the fun guy, and I'd like engage, and I'd be like, ambitions, I'm just like, not ambitions. What am I thinking?
Inhibitions.
Yeah. Inhibitions are gone, and hey, we're laughing, joking, dancing, singing, and then it's like, Tiffany, the very few times that she would, like, she was that too, right? She was dancing and like the life of the party and all those things. Like, oh, when's Fun Tiffany coming back? And like, man, it like hurt my heart when people would say that, because that person, drinking alcohol, whatever, is the better person, and that's not the case. Because what genuinely did you add? Yeah, it was fun or whatever, but like, what did you genuinely add to somebody's life by like getting hammered?
Right.
Not much.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, that was kind of a tangent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I've personally made the decision that at this stage of my life, my number one focus is health and longevity, and anything that doesn't aid health and longevity, I throw it away. And again, I'm grateful I have a brain that thinks that way.
Yeah.
I know not everybody thinks that way.
Yeah.
I'm grateful I have a brain that thinks if it doesn't serve me for health and longevity, then strip it away. Now there's other trade-offs I'm okay making, like a piece of cheesecake or a donut in the morning if my kids are having it. I'm okay with those trade-offs.
A donut.
In fact, yesterday you'd be proud of me. Got a whole donut, only half of it, threw the other half away.
Get out of here.
Get out of it. It was too much. It was just like, this is just too much. There's too much. It's not even good. It's just too, anyway.
Who is this?
Again,
guy?
I'm weird.
Have you ever just ate one donut? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like we talked about empty calories not too long ago. And I'm like, donuts are like the epitome of that. Cause it's like, I've got to eat 4. Like I can't just like have one donut.
Yeah. I'm not like that.
But to eat half of a donut?
There's like 3 bites and I was like, this is too much. This is, yeah.
So did you go make like an egg white frittata or something?
No. I ate my normal breakfast.
Golly.
But that's just how my mind works. If it doesn't aid me, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll make trade-offs, but if it doesn't aid me, I'm not. And that's the category I put alcohol in.
Yeah.
It doesn't aid me. It's not helping anything.
Yeah.
I'm just fine without it. That's the relationship I have. So, and again, I know not everybody's like that, but that's just the decision I've made. And it's helped me. This every time I have checkups, all my levels are normal. Everything's healthy. I'm 34. I haven't been sick. Literally, I haven't been sick in 12 years. I can't think of the last time I was actually sick.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's an accident. I think now that's good fortune for sure. That's luck.
Yeah.
But I also think it's decisions you make along the way.
100%.
And taking care of your body along the way.
And you think about this, like remember the kids in college that were just like, they never went and partied. They never went and did anything, or even high school. Like they were super locked in, super focused. And, they weren't staying out late. They took care of business. You're like, oh man, you're missing out. But here they are at like 26, making 6 figures, own their own house, living the dream at that point. And I just feel like there's a time, right? Like there's a time that, look, you just take care of yourself and you do the things right. And again, I'm still navigating that process. So again, this isn't me preaching, but I do think that like if we can delay gratification, I mean,
that really is the key right there.
And there's a time to maybe like at 45 or 50, right? And you're like, look, I've got it kind of, I've got the routine. I've got this. Like, and then you become like, hey, I actually really like wine, and I drink it because like I enjoy the process of it. Who knows?
Yeah,
but like,
great.
You've gotten to that point where you're like, all right, cool. Or you're just that like 70-year-old dude that just starts drinking boxed wine at 10 a.m.
Dude, I did that one time. $8 Franzia wine.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of the drunkest I've ever been. It was also the most full. It was horrible because you have to drink so much liquid to get.
Yeah, I would say,
or at least that was my experience. I drank so much
Franzia.
liquid.
Maybe Franzia, I don't know.
It was literally an $8 box of wine. And
but
just
again, but that's you. Like,
in a hotel room, I was pounding
you go so
paper
fast,
cups.
though. You don't even let your body like absorb or digest. It's like it's like a gummy. It's like gummies, right? You're like, I don't feel anything. I'm gonna take another one. I don't feel it. Oh, 10 minutes later, I don't feel anything. I'm gonna take another one. And then boom.
That's why I haven't taken gummies, because I'm gonna be the guy that 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't feel anything. Let's do the whole box. Let's see what that does.
Give me another brownie. Come on.
Yeah, so it's best for me to just stay. If you haven't picked up in the last 2 years of this podcast, I tend to become an obsessive person.
Yeah.
I have an obsessive personality. And so thankfully that obsession hasn't manifested in super unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
Other than I've taken health to the probably far end extreme, which can be unhealthy in itself. But anyway, that's just my personality. So that's part of what keeps me away from alcohol and drugs, is like, I could see myself getting obsessed pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, before we get out of here, did want to make the announcement, November 13th, mark your calendars. I know that's still 2 months away, but we're excited about it. November 13th, Cowboys versus Packers.
Come on.
We're going to be up at Choctaw Casino and Resort, Darren, Tyler, and I, at the League, the sports bar up there, which we're talking all about alcohol. I won't be drinking, but if you want to come have a few beers on us, come on up. It'll be a good time. I know Tyler and Darren will be indulging and having some fun. But even if you don't, it's a great time.
My birthday weekend. So
is that your birthday weekend?
I might definitely need a ride up there. I'm just kidding.
But even if you don't drink, the sports bar is great.
Yeah.
There's literally 100
the food.
TVs.
Remember how good?
And the
you couldn't even eat. So make sure you don't start 75 hard before
I won't
this.
be on 75 hard.
Because you had just started 75 hard, and he missed out on some of the best food.
Yeah. Yeah, the food's great. You're going to have a great time regardless.
Yeah.
And then, obviously bleed over into the casino. Go win yourself some money.
And you know what's cool? I mean, contrary to 90% of DFW and Cowboy Nation's perspective 24 hours ago, the season is not over.
The season's not over. It should.
Yours included.
Mine included. Hopefully, whatever the week that is.
They have already exceeded expectations with the entire team healthy that you set out for them.
I would have said they were going to be 0-2 at this point, even with healthy everybody.
Yeah. I think we saw, though, like Cincinnati's not that good.
No, they're not. They're not. But anyway, mark your calendars, November 13th. The League up at Choctaw Casino Resort. We're going to be there. We would love to come see you guys, interact with you guys, hang out with you guys. It's weird. We are the only ones that get to talk. This is a one-way transaction most of the time. We would love to hear from you guys and hang out with you guys on November 13th up at Choctaw. So anyway, any final closing thoughts? Anything to add?
Yeah, again, this isn't meant to guilt. This isn't meant, I think it's just aware. Just be aware. Yep. Just really understand. The reason we went through those 7 points is just understand the impacts of those decisions, right? And just understand that, like, look, we're not saying don't ever drink, you're evil if you do. That's not what we're saying. Just, hey, look, if you are trying to do these things, just make sure that, hey, you build in and understand the consequences of those.
I think you said it perfect earlier. It's, in most cases in life, if you can delay gratification, it's going to be a wise decision. That's right. And this is that same case. If you can delay that, yes, short term it's fun, but if you can delay that gratification of long term, the fun's going to be when I accomplish X.
That's right.
If you can do that, you're going to set yourself up and get a position to succeed. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We will see you tomorrow.